very good morning and welcome to the show. The 15th of September 2023. We are only 14 days away from the secondary elections, which will be held on the 29th of September. Good morning. My name is Lungelele Makakolamguni. How are you?
Doing very well, Lula. I like how you are always keeping track of the countdown in our secondary elections. We just saw a beautiful advert before the show started that speaks to the elections, a very good project. So it's a good shout out to our team, Eswatini TV, the likes of LinkedIn, Kusile, whoever, was responsible for that video in terms of being behind the camera and editing. It's such a beautifully comprehensive video. Secondary elections. I
think by watching that promo, you want to be part of, you want to watch every single action on that day. So yes, we will be broadcasting live. Look at the secondary elections. Special voting, which will be held on the 26th of September.
On that note, you did mention it is a beautiful Friday morning. We've made it to the last day of the week. It is a blessing indeed, and it is a blessing to wake up again this morning to bring you your perfect recipe to start your day in Kusile breakfast show. It's going to be an exciting show again this morning. Lungelele has some exciting news about the Ministry of Finance in collaboration with the Eswatini Revenue Service.
We do talk about Inzabatek Patalo Agomtelo, Stabesina Communications Director Waga ARS Njobanje, the Minister of Finance in collaboration with the Eswatini Revenue Service advises all government contracted suppliers to enhance compliance and reduce administrative costs. There's a new simplified value added tax VAT mechanism for government suppliers will, with effect from 11 September, be applicable to all VAT registered suppliers contracted by government. This initiative is designed to protect government contracted suppliers from incurring undue tax liabilities and interest, whilst also enhancing compliance with the country's tax laws. That basically mechanism at 6:30.
We'll also be joined by two enactors, Eswatini Entrepreneurials. We do know ukuthi enactors ke yaqhubeka nje nemsebenzi wayo ukuthi iqhutele bafunzi bafaka ama competition ekutheni bakhe ema projects la entrepreneurial but la very innovative and smart. Enactors continues to engage them, especially the next generation of entrepreneurial leaders, to use innovation and business principles to improve the world. We will talk to Nogwethu Zamamthethwa lapha UNESCO Mbabane Campus. She is the CEO for the Mbabane Campus Group here in Enactors on their crop residue recycle project. How do they recycle residue yema crops tinhlanga? Kanzike staphinze sikhulumisane naphiwa inkosi Ngwenya nongsi oke yena weSANU Siteki Campus under Enactors project yakhona. Iteam ke lena le recyclisha ema plastic bottles to create smart farming structures that allow one to practice farming on the go. Nalokunye nje lakhona kwendiwa ngiwo lama plastic bottles la recycled. It's going to be an interesting conversation with these young visionaries, these young entrepreneurs. We do want to hear how they plan to grow their businesses and further save the country, which is Eswatini, as well as, take it to the world and be big entrepreneurs worldwide. We'll also be joined by Fabrice Msonera later on the show, just to, speak on what went down this week in terms of sports. Where we'll look at my results, we'll look at my fixtures and my log standings. Don't go anywhere. It's going to be an interesting one. What are we doing now, Lulu?
It's 4 minutes after 6. Asibukele thamba imbili kumaphepha ndzaba lomhla ngesihlanu. So Buga 8 times of Eswatini, Lomhlagong Leslan, Gulet Yamba Mbili, Nestrombelapa, 90 students have graduated from the Eswatini Youth Empowerment Program, Yaga UNDP. As Tamba Mbili plot to kidnap 3 persons with albinism amid elections. Organization recommends affected members be moved to places of safety until elections are over. Kuletinye thamba embili, senior lawyer says hitmen hired to kill him kanye nama clients akhe. Kuletinye thamba embili, teachers mass meet today. Government warns on no work, no pay. Bring it on. Ngekusho kwenhlangano isnat. Kanti ke kuletinye thamba embili, 900 VIP security jobs have been saved.
What an important project by the Eswatini Youth Empowerment Program under the UNDP there. 90 graduates, it's very interesting. But our connecti Vlela Matuba M7 with their artisanal skills. Ganzge sports go at times of Eswatini this morning, about a month before World Cup qualifiers. Sihlangu coach is out of contract. Dominic Gunene will continue leading national football side despite a public outcry. That's the leading story. Ganzige letinye letihamba embili sitsebe face Banyana Banyana in Kosafa in what is set to be an interesting game, as we do see that Sihlangu is under Group A with South Africa, Malawi, Madagascar. Ganzige Group B and Group C has other African countries, but we're very interested in Group A. Ganzige on another one, Pep is back. Manchester City coach Pep Guardiola was seen back in training for the first time Langin Laitolo after having been absent from the Manchester City dugout for over 3 weeks. Ganzige Messi, Haaland, Mbappe lead best list. That is ama nominations la khona kuma awards la tawba khona masinyane.
All right, show leading stories on the Eswatini Daily News. The Singapetela Motor Vehicle Accident Fund has been fined 150,000 malangeni by ISICOM for contravening the Data Protection Act. Consequently, Mbili Court grants government condonation of late filing of a record. Guletini Mbili essential health services still thriving after COVID-19.
Kutemidlalo, Mbabane Highlanders Managing Director Chief Ali Homong was ambushed by gun-wielding thugs who fired gunshots on his Mercedes-Benz C200 while driving in South Africa on Wednesday night. A photo is seen there with his tire, let's say Pochosiwege, where he survived the car hijacking at Pretoria. Kanzige Sihlangu is to host World Cup qualifiers in Mbombela. Kanzige Gulenye Emma Pogo hope versatility can be tonic as they continue to play Go World Cup yayo rugby. Those are the leading headlines this morning. Mapepa Nzabeni etfu lapha kangwane asibahlolet market test abuya sithathe nzabatala lapha ekhaya.
Umsakazo wetithombe iEswatini TV utibophelele kuhlonipha nekulandzela umgomo wetekusakata loweluswe libandla letekuchumana eveni.
Ngephansi kwalomgomo sitimisele kusakata tindzaba tenteya ngaleso sikhatsi tindzaba letide magama lacosheme letitsembekile letitsinza tonke tinhlangothi naletisebaleni
kusukela kutepolitiki, tetemphilo, tekulima, tetinkantolo netemhlaba wonke jikelele siniletsela tindzaba njengoba tinjalo ngaleso sikhatsi letenteka ngaso.
Kanzi kulomsakato siphindze sikulethele lonke luhlobo lwetemidlalo kusuka emidlalweni welibhola letinyawo kuye emidlalweni ledlalelwa ematafuleni kanye naleto letichamuka ngaphandle kwakuleli.
Leti tindzaba lotiletselwa ngumsakazo wetithombe iEswatini TV.
Mhla siphindze sikwamukele ehlelweni sithathe nathi tindzaba talapha ekhaya sibonza senhlangano lefundzisa ngemihambo nemasiko akuleli iBabukisi Foundation umfana Nkosi Banzile sesitvumise uhulumende wembube ngekushicilela ulwimi lwesiswati ekutheni lubalelwe kuleto tifundvo letibalulekile etikolweni takuleli. Umfana Nkosi bekakhuluma ngesikhatsi lenhlangano ifundzisa emasiko nemihambo esikolweni lesiphakeme sasesiteki Nazarene esigodzini saselibonjeni.
Lenhlangano yebabukisi yachubeka nekukhuhlela insiti yemasiko ensheni nangekuphaphisa umjeka wetemasiko ngekuhambela tikolo atakuleli. Babukisi baholwe nguye umvanenkosi loSibonza Sabo ngesikhathi bavakashela isikolo seSiteki Nazarene High School befike bavusetela ligqozi lwemasiko kubafundi bakhaliphisa lwati lwabo lwemasiko nemihambo bachutshwa siqubulo sabo lesithi lwati nebuve ingcebo. Bafundi bathole lwati lolucwengekile ngekuhleleka kwelikhaya leSiswati, imikhosi yelive, tingoma teSiswati, imvunulo yeSiswati nelisiko lokubutheka. Bekhanyelweke nangekuthi kutiphatha kahle kuliseko lelibalulekile lekuthola likusasa lelichazile. Isikhathi babukisi bafundzisa ngemvunulo yeSiswati, lenye indzaba levakele kube kuthi kunetinguquko letibhekene nemvunulo yeMeswati letifaka ekhatsi ukuthi seyicala kungatfolakali imelula ngenxa yokuncipha kwetilwane tasendle lenato setavikelwa ngumthetho. Umvanenkosi udumise isinyathelo sahulumende wembube sekufaka ulimi lweSiswati eluhlelo lwetifundvo letibalulekile etikolweni. Lezinyane lembube libe nembono ukuthi bafundi betayele kuvunula ngaboLwesihlanu.
Buhle beSiswati yonke into ihleleke kahle, yonke into inesizathu lesithide. Akuthi nje ukuthi kubekiwe nje into noma ukuthi umuntu weSiswati uma kanjani. Noma umuntu akavunulile ngeSiswati uvunule nakavunulile lenane imvunulo isho inkulumo. Isho inkulumo esigaba semuntu, pheze isho inkulumo esigaba ukuthi lo msebenzi wani. Kusho kona ukuthi kuyajabulisa nekuva nalabantwana ukuthi bathi kakhulu ngalesiswati. Sibonge uhulumende kakhulu wayo imbube yemhlaba ukuthi asifake leSiswati kusyllabus. Solo siyakubonga lokho, solo siyakhutsata ukuthi kube i-passing subject, kuba into lenhle leyo kakhulu ngikwanza kwebuve beSiswati. Na ubuka nje amavela amanye njengama-Arabs lelisiko labo le-Arab solo likhona. Yebo bayathuthuka bona kepha-ke lelisiko solo likhona nemihambo yabo. Kanjalo nathi singemaswati kufuneka sicine njalo emasikweni kakhulu. Sibonge nje kakhulu emakhosi ethu eSwatini ukuthi sukela amakhosi akudzala solo umhambo nemasiko eSiswati ebuve solo namuhla solo sihamba ngawo. Nekukhutsata yena uhulumende ukuthi tikolo tonke teSwatini kuthi njalo ngaboLwesihlanu bayitayele lemvunulo. Ngoba lokunye lesikubona ukuthi labanye basangakwadi kahle lokuvunula, basangaconsi kahle labanye. So nakuyintayelo batawugcina bakutayela sekulangatini bangabi nebulukhuni sinabavunula kuvunula kanjani.
Ukukhulisa emathuba ukuthi bafundi bende kahle esifundweni selulimi lweSiswati, lenhlangano seyisukumise luhlelo lwemihlomelo. Sekubekhona abafundi labathathu labagwazene elihlolweni lweminyaka lophelile emabangeni aka grade 7, form 3 na form 5 labaphaphele eTulu bakhwela indiza bayeven laseNingizimu Afrika batfola nelikhothe lwemalangeni layinkulungwane umfundzi amunye. Lenhlangano ithi utawukhula lomqhudelwano weSiswati bafundi labaphume embili kuwo bagcine sebandizela mshiyalo wangesheya kwetilwandle. Bika kwethu indzabeni ngisandile Makhanya iSiteki.
Khulu semphakathi wasezulwini umngani wemakhosi Sifiso Khumalo sewudumise wahlonipha uPaul Bengwenyama ngekusukumisa luhlelo lekuthuthukisa abantu labasha kutemakhono. Khumalo bekakhuluma ngesikhathi kuphothulwa abantu labasha benzawo yasezulwini labaqeqeshwe ngemakhono inhlangano yakamhlaba yetentuthuko United Nations Development Program.
Kulesigaba sekucala saloluhlelo yeSwatini Youth Empowerment Program lubone kuphethulwa kwebantfu labasha labaceceshwe kutemakhono lafaka ekhatsi kutfunga kuwayarisha nekwakha kulokunye. Sikhulu sasezulwini umngani wemakhosi Sifiso Khumalo uhloniphe ubuholi besilo inkosi Mswati wesithathu ngekusukumisa loluhlelo lolutawubona intuthuko yebantfu labasha lapha eveni.
I also extend my gratitude to His Majesty King Mswati III for the visionary leadership.
Situmeza ubuholi besilo ngekusumisa loluhlelo loluhlose kunciphisa abantu labasha labaswele emathuba emisebenzi lapha eveni kuthuthuke umnotho welive. Loluhlelo lungumgomo welive wekuthuthukisa abantu labasha kutemakhono.
Bayithe wena waphakathi.
Idvuna itiko letemidlalo emasiko netindzaba tebantfu labasha Harris Bulunga ithi hulumende udzinga kubanjiswa tinhlangothi letahlukene kuti acedze kweselakala kwematfuba emisebenzi kubantfu labasha.
We continue to make a plea to the corporate and government state enterprises.
Uma tinhlangothi letitimele ikakhulukazi emabhizinisi lamakhulu tingabambisa uhulumende kuthuthukisa emakhono kubantu labasha. Lingancipha lizinga lelisetulu lebantu labasha labangasebenzi lapha eveni.
Indvuna yetemfundvo nekucecesha Lady Howard yona ithi kutimisela nenhlonipho kungumgogodla wekuphumelela kwemabhizinisi.
Ungaqali uze ukhohlwe inhlonipho yakho. Kakuqhamuke inhlonipho yakho phambili bese sokuyaqhamuka wena ngemuva. Everywhere you go. Qaphele ke sitha semuntu lesihlala simbuka emehlweni buvila.
Abamfu labasha labaphotfuliwe bange-75 kanti baphinze baniketwa netindvu tekuchuba emabhizinisi abo. Etindzabeni Eswatini TV kubika Samkeliswe Khoza nginasimuva Shongwe eMbabane.
Kanzike ngakulokunye umphathi welihhovisi lakamhlaba kuleli George Washira uthi luhlelo lelive lekuthuthukisa abantu labasha i-Eswatini Youth Empowerment Program luhambisana ngco nemigomo yakamhlaba yokuthuthukisa inhlalakahle yabantu labasha mhlaba wonke. Washira bekakhuluma ngesikhathi kuphothulwa abantu labasha bendzawo yasezulwini abaqeqeshwe ngemakhono inhlangano yakamhlaba yetentfutfuko United Nations Development Program.
Lohlelo ye-Eswatini Youth Empowerment Program lihlose kunciphisa lizinga lelisetulu lebantfu labasha labaswele ematfuba emsebenti lapha eveni lelime kulokungema-58 ekhulwini 58%, kanti labafundzi baceceshwe tinyanga letintsatfu esikolweni semakhono kaManzini iManzini Industrial Training Center. Umphathi welihhovisi lakamhlaba kuleli George Wachira uthi lohlelo lelive lihambisana nemigomo yakamhlaba lebuka intfutfuko nenhlalakahle yebantfu labasha.
Eswatini Youth Empowerment Program is a part of
Lolu hlelo i-Eswatini Youth Empowerment Program luhambisana ngco nemigomo wakamhlaba lobuke inhlalakahle nentuthuko yabantu labasha lowenabela nasetinhlanganweni letinyenti takamhlaba.
Lobuke lihhovisi laka-UNDP kuleli Ross Batindira uthi inhloso lenkulu yalelihlelo kwakha ematfuba emsebenti lapha eveni.
And the overall objective is to encourage entrepreneurship.
Inhloso lenkulu yalolu hlelo kuthuthukisa emakhono nemathuba emisebenzi kubantu labasha baphindze bakhone kwakhela labanye futhi bantu labasha emathuba emisebenzi live laseSwatini lithuthuke liye embili.
Bafundzi bebaphotfulwa bona bathi ngalamakhono abo lamasha batawufaka sandla lesibonakalako emnothweni welive.
Le industry yaka building nje yona iyabadinga abantu labasikati kusukela sade ukuthi imisebenzi yekwakha yekufaka ema-tiles it's male dominated.
One thing I've got in heart ukuthi ngifuna kuvula effect lapho khona ngidawukhona kuchubeka ngesithe esive sonke producing sofas ngiwayise even outside the country.
Lolu hlelo lasukunyiswa ingwenyama silo inkosi Mswati wesithathu eminyakeni lophelile ngenhloso ekuthuthukisa abamfu labasha kude babe ingcenye yetinhlangothi letithuthukisa umnotho welive laseSwatini. Etindzabeni Eswatini TV kubika Samkeliswe Khoza nginasimuva Shongwe eMbabane.
Indvuna yetekuvakasha Moses Vilakati seyicele sive ukuthi siyonge imvelo ngoba iyashabalala ngenxa yetento letahlukahlukene. Indvuna beyikhuluma eNyuvesi yaseLimpopo lapho bekusukumiswa khona inyanga yetekuvakasha nemvelo iWorld Tourism Month.
Kubulo senyanga yetemvelo sithi kuphakamisa siphindze sihlanyele kubantu imvelo kanye nemnotho etindzabeni tetemvelo. Sigcileke ekutheni kongiwe imvelo lebonakala ishabalala ngetento tebantu umhlaba wonke. Ikhuluma nayisukumisa inyanga yetemvelo lokuyinyanga lesetulu induna yetemvelo Moses Vilakati ithi ngemitamo yekonga imvelo batawube banemisebenzi leyahlukahlukene yekonga imvelo kuteke kuyophela inyanga lesetulu.
Itolo besine slogan lebe sithi umhlaba uyimpilo wethu asiwonke. Lokonga lomhlaba lokunye lokungena lapha ekuthenini akube ne-green investment. Asiwongeni ke vele. Lesokungijabulisa nje nyanga tikhwama sokhanza ukuthi noma banika lonjani sebaphatha letikhwama leti-recycled.
Umphathi welibandla letekuvakasha Linda Nxumalo uthi tivakashi tithi tingafika eveni njengoba tithokotela kuba seSwatini batifundzise bomcoka bekuhloba lekuyintwe lobayifundzisa sive ukuthi asigcine live lihlobile.
We encourage our tourists to not litter, to stay in eco-friendly accommodation environments and to minimize waste.
Umcondzisi wenyuvesi yaseLimpopo Thobile Gumede uthe bayinyuvesi banaso sifundo setekuvakasha lesababona ukuthi bafundzi bayosithokotela kanzike nalabaphothulile ngaphambilini kulesifundo basebenta kutoke tinhlangothi tekuvakasha.
In our program, we do have modules that speak to green tourism in our international tourism management program.
Libandla letekuvakasha netinhlangothi letahlukene titabe tifundzisa ngekuhlobisa imvelo, tibutsane tibi letinye tibi letingasebenziseka kabusha, tibuthwe timikiso lapho kufanele khona. Kubika Giyani Msibingi na Sebenele Mtsetfwa, sisenyuvesi yaseLimpopo eSithwashini.
Mabhalane lomkhulu etiko letangephandle nekudlelana nalamanye emave Newman Ntshangase uthi-ke kusukunyiswa ngalokusemthethweni kwelihhovisi lelitobuka eMaswati langephandle kwakuleli i-diaspora unit kutawuba nemthelela lomuhle emnothweni welakuleli. Ntshangase uthi leli hhovisi litotfola linani leMaswati lasebentako lahlala ngephandle kwelakuleli kanye nalawo lafundzela kulamanye emave.
Leli hhovisi lelitobuka eMaswati langephandle kwelakuleli i-diaspora unit ihlose ekuqinisa indlela lelakuleli lixoxisana ngayo nalabahlala ngephandle kwalo uthuthukisa inhlala kahle kanye nemnotho yelakuleli. Mabhalane lomkhulu etiko letangephandle kanye nekudlelana nalamanye emave Newman Ntshangase uchaza kabanti ngobumcoka baleli hhovisi.
Lokushoda kakhulu ukuthi sibe nale data naleli nani sibati labantu ukuthi oLeswati lahamba la kuleli veleli lisenda nomsebenzi lona and-ke leyo information leyo iyasita isita nasetinhlangothini letinengi hayi nalabo abayosebenza kuphela. Kuye kwendeke ngesinye isikhathi ukwenza ukuthi lo myesi uyahamba siyalimala ngale naningamati-ke ukuthi manje na uhlala kuphi wahamba njani. Sicabanga ukuthi le unit itawubuka tonke leto tingoni leto.
Lobo kumsebenzi wokusukumiswa kwaleli hhovisi labahlala ngephandle kwelakuleli Jeremias Mendes uthi ihhovisi lifana naleli lisita kakhulu mase kunetehlakalo kulawo mave lokufaka ekhathi itimbi lokwenta ukuthi kube melula ukuthi labo labahlala lawo mave basitakale. Mendes uqhubeka ukukhuthaza uhulumende welakuleli ukuthi aqinisekise ukuthi leli hhovisi lenta umsebenzi alihlali njengalokhu selivuliwe.
Needs a dedicated mission to a dedicated unit.
Kumcoka ukuthi kube nelihhovisi lelitosebenta ngco onke emalanga tindzaba letitsinza eMaswati langephandle kwelakuleli. Leli hhovisi litawukhona kwati ukuthi bane ukuphi nekuthi wendani futhi. Lokho kutawusita ekuqinisekiseni ukuthi banganiketwa luphi lusito.
Umsebenzi wokusukumisa leli hhovisi kuleli waqala ngeminyaka wa-2021 kanti kuvelile kulomsebenzi wokulisukumisa ngalosemthethweni ukuthi inhloso lenkulu ukuthi eMaswati langephandle kwelakuleli angavaleleki ngephandle kusentiwa tintfo etindzabeni. Kubika Fortune Dlangamandla, nginavuma inkosi Nzinisa Sisembabane.
Umcondzisi weluhlangothi lwetilwane Dr. Xolani Dlamini uthi live litawucupha emantshwele even leTurkey kanye nelaseBrazil kuvikela kungena kwesifo setinkhukhu lesesibhedvuke emhlaba wonke i-avian influenza. Dr. Dlamini uvete lokhu nakachaza kabanti ngetinhlelo live lelinato kuvikela lo mkhuhlane lapha even.
Emavela amaningi emhlabeni ahlaselwe ngumkhuhlane wetinkhukhu i-avian influenza. Umcondzisi welihlangothi lwetilwane kuleli Dr. Xolani Dlamini uchaza kabanti ukuthi live lendani kuqinisekisa kwekuthi lo mkhuhlane awungeni lapha eveni.
Uyingoti kakhulu. Bulala inkukhu yesintu, bulala inkukhu yesilungu, bulala inyoni, bulale konke. So ke lesikugadzile ke thina ngiloyo ukuthi lesingakhona ukuvikela ukuthi singalanzi tinkukhu noma macanza noma ke equipment lese inale lendawo lese contaminated noma lese inale sifo tinkukhu letinale sifo ngoba tidawuthelela tethu. Sikwenda ke lo ngokuthi kwekucala sinciphise kakhulu ukungenisa kwetinkukhu letichamuka ngaphandle. Kepha ke kukhona lezi sakulanza ngaphandle lesi sima fertile eggs lawa lesiwachoboselisako kulama hatchery ethu. Lesikwendawo ke lapho silanza etindzaweni lesi sima compartments sho sithi indzawo letikhethekile letihlolwako zama ukuthi angapheli lamantshwele la ngekhathikise ma fertile eggs sesiwalanza sesilungisile nje siwalanza eTurkey sitawalanza mhlawumbe naseBrazil lesikusebendako lo kulamalanga kwendela ukuthi emantshwele angapheli.
Lo mkhuhlane uyingoti kangangokuba ngekusho kwenhlangano yetilwane emhlabeni i-World Organization for Animal Health ubulale izinkukhu leting-9,500 ngenyanga yakholwane kulomnyaka eveni labomakhelwane iNingizimu Afrika. Etindzabeni Eswatini TV kubika Nelson Wendlangamandla. Nginavuma inkosi Nzinisa Embabane.
Sive sithi sesilungele kuya elikhetfweni olukhulu umhlati nge-24 kulesetulu. Lesive siphindze sakhutsata nalesinye sive ekutheni siye kuyawukhetsa ngaleli langa.
Sekusele emalanga la-14 kungakefiki lilanga lelukhetfo lolukhulu kule nyanga. Sikhulumisene nesive kuva imivo yaso ngelukhetfo.
Sisukumeni sihambeni siyovota as youth to empower us to select those people in the parliament bakhona ukuthi batasiva move yethu nanathi sitakhona sisho ukuthi sifunani.
Nangabe ithi lenkulumo sakhalive ngetekasala asente njalo ke sive sahambe selukhethweni sive hamba ukhethe njengebandle kwekuvuma kunikwa timali.
Sikhethe kakhulu bomake ngoba libonakele linani labomake labakhethiwe ukuthi lincane kakhulu. Bengicela ke bomake ukuthi sisupportane kuze nathi sitokhona kumeleleka eParliament.
Ngesibani labasha ngiyathanda ukuthi ngamunye nangamunye sihambeni siyokhetha lapho etinkhundleni tethu.
Thatha balingani bami ukuthi asihambeni sivote likusasa lethu ngahle lichakase.
Libandla letelikhethwa nemincele i-Elections and Boundaries Commission lithi tindzawo tekuvota tingetulu kwa 700 kanti sive lesilibhalisele lolukhetfo singetulu kwa 583,000. Etindzabeni Eswatini TV kubika Nelson Wendlangamandla nginavuma inkosi Nzinisa Embabane.
Kutemidlalo likhethelo lesive labomake esithebe semhlekazi sesidvonswe ngaphansi kwa Group A endzebeni yeCOSAFA yabomake lapho khona sikanye nebanyana yeNingizimu Afrika, iMalawi kanye neMadagascar. Kanti ke lemidlalo itawudlalelwa esifundzeni seGauteng eveni laseNingizimu Afrika kusukela mhla ka-4 kuya mhla ka-15 enyangeni letako.
Likhethelo lesive labomake esithebe samhlekazi sidvonsane ngaphasi kwa Group A endzebeni yeCOSAFA yabomake lapho khona sikanye nebanyana yaseNingizimu Afrika, Malawi kanye neMadagascar. Ngaphasi kwa Group B kuneZambia kanye neMozambique, Angola kanye neComoros. Ngaphasi kwa Group C kuneNamibia kanye neBotswana, Zimbabwe kanye neLesotho. Lemidlalo itawudlalela esifundzeni seGauteng eveni laseNingizimu Afrika kusukela mhla ka-4 kuya mhla ka-15 kulenyanga letako. Live leZambia ngilo lelivikela lendzebe kanti banyana ngiyo lephakamise emahlandla lamanyenti lendzebe. Bosha Modisa waseNingizimu Afrika nguwelo nemagoli lamanyenti lapho khona unemagoli 6 kusukela lendzebe yaqala ngeminyaka ka-2002. Lobikela umsakathi Eswatini TV kutemidlalo ngilinda Dlamini kanti umbiko uhlanganiswa nguFabrice Msonera Embabane.
Kanti ke umqeqeshi walo likhethelo lesive labomake esithebe semhlekazi izwe likhoza uthi imidlalo lababhekene nayo kule midlalo yeCOSAFA kanye nemidlalo yeAfrica Cup of Nations lelive leBurkina Faso evikini lelitako itawubanga lelikhuni sibili, kodwa ke batawutimisela bakhone kumelela live kahle kule midlalo.
Iqembu lelamva kwami ngilo-ke likhethelo lesive labomake sithebe samhlekazi lilungiselela yona ke imidlalo yeCOSAFA yabomake kanye ke nemidlalo yeAfrica Cup of Nations. Litawudlala ke nelicembu leBurkina Faso evikini lelitako. Silitfolile ke nelithuba lekukhuluma naye umceceshi waleli qembu lochazile ukuthi balicembu sebalungele ukuthi bangalimelela live kulomdlalo weBurkina Faso kanti ke nangalesihlanu batawuba naye umdlalo webungani nelive leMozambique.
Ingadi leBurkina Faso sidlala yiphi type of football, but Mozambique is a passing Latino passing game. But now kusitangisita kanjani I don't know about leBurkina Faso. Kube ngathi leBurkina Faso it's similar style nale Mozambique. If it's similar, it has sit the game. If not, stabe shape le team. Le banyana ivame ukhobosa leCOSAFA tournament. Ilese under 20 under banban. But dangerous kakhulu ke labo. Kanti kube basinike the senior team lesuka World Cup. Lala bacapako then besitawukhona ke lapho kunomsebenzi omuhle.
Kanti ke nebadlali bavumile ukuthi sebalungele ukuthi bangamelela live kahle kule midlalo.
So far ngisho ukuthi amalungiselelo ahamba kahle kakhulu.
badlali bangilabaphilile. I think everyone is aware, and so far the team lesinayo most of the players baba na international tournament.
But siyapromisa ukuthi lamalungiselelo leswendawo kwale sitawubuya nawo positive. It's a matter of everybody abe wake up.
Lo mdlalo waleli khethelo kanye nelive leBurkina Faso utawubanjwa khona enkundleni yesive kaSomhlolo evikini lelitako ngalesithathu. Lobikako etindzabeni te-Eswatini TV, nginoSiphonsibande ngina Fabrice Msonera galobamba.
Bumbene insimbi yesithupha sibahlola emakethe sitawubuya nebaka-Eswatini Revenue Service.
Ibandla letelukhetfo nemincele Elections and Boundaries Commission lathi sasive kutsi kuvota ngalokukhetsekile special voting kutawuba mhla tingemashumi kulesetulu 26 September 2023. Kanti lukhetfo lolukhulu lona lutawubanjwa mhla tingemashumi kulesetulu 29 September 2023. Ngete ngasala nasakha live letfu.
Tifumvota namhla esomveni betingakacandzani nathi. Hawu mngani, usho ngani? Bekukhulunyela bafana kuphela, buka nje bekukhulunya ngekusoka. Ushiyekile impela mnganami. Angayiva kahle lenzaba.
Phela ngekusoka bobhuti, nanathi bayazivikela kumdlavuza womlomo wesibeletho. Futhi ukusoka kuyingcenye yetindlela tekuvikela i-HIV even. Kanti ke naye ibhuti masekasokile,
uyativikela kumdlavuza wemvuku. Uyabona mngani ngishiyeke mbamba. Uyabona babuya kutofundisa betempilo, ngitolalela.
Lo mlayeto ulethelwa litiko letempilo. Kuva kabandi, shayela 2030.
Welcome back. Sakuvusela nawo losanza kusivulela selo sichubekana lohlelo lifulo lomhla ekseni. We are joined by Communications Director Eswatini Revenue Service. Uyakhumula ukuthi on Friday sikhuluma dona tindzaba tebhadalwa kwemthelo. The Ministry of Finance, in collaboration with the Eswatini Revenue Service, advises all government contracted suppliers to enhance compliance and also reduce administrative cost. A new simplified value-added tax mechanism for government suppliers will, with effect from 11 September, be applicable to all VAT registered suppliers contracted by government. Sinayeke lapha vusetho sichazela kabandi ngayo le simplified new mechanism. Khosi siyabonga ukuthi bena silomhla ekseni. Thank you for joining us. Educate nje kakhulu ngatetindaba temthelo ngaba kungiko vele kumele sikwende. Kumbe kusichazela nje ukuthi yini kahle kahle vele lena le simplified VAT mechanism.
Asibonge lolu sibonge nakubo babukele ba Kusile breakfast show. Mhlawumbe umuntu angakayi ekuthenini in the simplified VAT mechanism for government suppliers lesibita kanjalo ukuthi nje kafishane siyakhumbula ukuthi VAT isebenta kanjani kusho ukuthi ngileyo naleyo business lebhalisile kubhalisela iVAT lesiyaye sithi kwanyalo nangabe wenda imali noma ke uthengisa tinvo leti ngedulu kwa 500,000 ngeminyaka kubheke ukuthi ubhalisele VAT naso ubhalisile ke kusho ukuthi njalo na uthengisa leto timpahla uyaye ucharge leyo VAT kuloyo losuke umthengisela ngibekise nangabe uthengisela impahla ta 100,000 emalangeni ngithi ngiyabekisa njengoba ngisho iVAT ngo15% kusho ukuthi utawuthi kule invoice yakho ukhombisa ukuthi kuna 15% lo iVAT lokusho ukuthi ngingabekisa ngithi ngu15,000 emalangeni naku 100,000 bese ke naso invoice loyo lo invoice yakho ngemva kwetinyanga letintsatfu kulabanye ikakhulukazi labancane labanye ngemva kwenyanga yinye kubhekeke ukuthi nangabe ungileyo business lebhalisele iVAT bese uletha ireturn noma nakulesithi ngumbiko la usitshela khona ukuthi usebenze kanjani noma ke usupply bobani usupply webobani bese le difference ke so uyiletha kuye hulumende through the ERS so ubhadala leyo VAT. The simplified VAT mechanism for government suppliers then says nangabe kusho ukuthi usupply uhulumende noma ke wena uthengisele uhulumende ithi le system yethu lensha lesi-introduce-ako sifise ukuthi noma ke ngisho ukuthi sifise ubhekeke ukuthi wena nangabe ungilelo business le ngibekise stationery shop usupply uhulumende stationery 100,000 utawuthi hulumende nase akubhadala angakuniki le portion ye VAT avele akubhadale le ngiyakho vele ngoba liqiniso lithi lolo isuke uyichargeile iVAT kufuna vele ngabe uyayiletha uyibhadalela ngakithi. So this simplified mechanism is then saying the government will not pay you the whole amount which is 115,000 utakubhadala 100,000 then athathe le VAT which is 15,000 ayilethe ku ERS because that's I set kuwe as soma business. Lo kusho ukuthi ke lokutawendeka kuwe wena njengasoma business ukuthi utawuchubeka wende lokufanele ukwende njalo ngemva kwetigaba kuye ngokuthi uletha ngeminyaka noma ngenyanga noma ngemva kwetinyanga letintsatfu umbiko na uletha utawusho ukuthi kuloku ngimsupplyile vele uhulumende iinvoice yakhona ing115,000 lo 15,000 lo se uhulumende angakakubhadali yena sitamthatha thina simfake as a credit in your account la ngakithi lokusho ukuthi utawufika umkhanze khona so there will be no need for you to be paying that amount of 15 to be paying that amount of 15,000 because you have already paid it ngekuthi hulumende so usinikile
losho ukuthi vele sekwehlisa nale mhlambe le stress saye semabhizinisi ukuthi because labanye mhlambe bese bayalingeka sabakhanza sabayisebenzisa leyo mali leyo ngabe vele mhlambe kube yinto izathu ukuthi nithathe nje lena route lena ningi arrest lokuthi vele salingidi la kubo semabhizinisi sale nithatha ngale vele hulumende
sibonge lolu usho yona ngokuthi kwekucala vele bakhona bosomabhizinisi labadi khanza ngoba umthelo we-VAT uthi nangabe so invoiceile noma ke so uyikhiphile le invoice wayinika uhulumende uthi ke lo mthetho naso uletha lo mbiko kufuna le mali bese uyayibhadala now ukhanza ukuthi labanye abayibhadali le mali ngesikhathi babekele dotizathu ke ngakwehlukahlukana labanye bakhala ngathi mhlawumbe uhulumende usengakababhadali nangaba sengakababhadali ke ngalanga kithi nasibuka thina ngalo mgomo wemthelo uthi le mali kufuna ngabe so uyibhadele lokusho ukuthi kufuna kube ne-interest leta ucharge ngakuthi solo ayikabhadaleki kepha the good news lana ukuthi lokutawendeka ukuthi nangabe kulama invoices lawo specifically lawo supply khona uhulumende there will no longer be any interest and penalties for the businesses which we believe is going to really help business in a big way.
Losho ukuthi yaba protect abosoma business that is one of the benefits of this simplified mechanism.
Yes, that's one of the key benefits of introducing this mechanism ukuthi bosoma business batawusitakala ngakuthi ngeke basayi encourage leyo interest nema penalties angeke basawarisha basically ma invoices labawa supply hulumende and I think I need to emphasize ukuthi it's purely where those suppliers have supplied government because you will find that there's supplier A who is supplying government but is also supplying other businesses. There are other supplies to other businesses. I apply less scheme less khuluma ngaso.
Okay. Njoba uvelile nje ngose kulombiko ukuthi niqala mhla ka11 September kube effective 11 September. Bakhona ni bosoma business mhlambe labasolo bayikoleta bamkoleta lo 15% lokuseniqalile nje. khona yini mhlambe tikhebezi letikhona nje before 11 September kumele ukuthi dilungiseke?
Liqiniso lithi dikhona ngokuthi vele sikhuluma ngala lapha ngokuthi iVAT yaqala nga-2012 so lelisondo bese livele ligicika bakhona labagweletako bakhona labakahle labangagweleti kepha sithi siyaye sithi sichaze kusonke isikhathi ukuthi kulabo labagweletako basenalo lithuba lokuthi betekithi sikhulumisane ukuthi yini lesingayenda kuze kugcineni kwako konke bende tindvo ngendlela lengiyo mhlawumbe sengikushito logo liqiniso lelinye lithi labanye njengoba ngisho ngithi lelisondo bese livele ligicika setindvo tichubeka even though mhla ka-11 September mhlawumbe so langa lelibekiwe kokuthi iyaqala le program le labo labe basengakami invoice ngibekise uhulumende noma ngabe ngimisebenzi yangemuva laba once ba invoicer le scheme vele sitawuqala sisebende lokusho ukuthi lawo ma invoices nangabe kusho ukuthi uhulumende sowufika esigabeni sekuthi ababhadale angeke aze ababhadale leyo VAT utayiletha la ngakithi.
Okay, so ngifuna kusikhuluma ngama implications ngosi because this is a new development and we will assume ukuthi mhlambe kuba khona lento edingeka letiba khona kusichaza nje ukuthi kungaba yini ama implications kuyele development lena.
Nasikhuluma ngama implications mhlawumbe nasikubuka I think there's for me if I'm nasikubuka it's a very positive initiative this I wouldn't expect that there will be problems particularly on the suppliers side those that are supplying the government because the way it has been crafted is such that mhlawumbe njengoba ngishito nangabe kusho ukuthi usupply uhulumende specifically for the goods lo supply uhulumende kuwo angeke usaba worried kakhulu ngekuthi kufanele ulethe leyo VAT specifically to that so that's a positive because labanye bake bakhala ngaloko ukuthi why vele le mali ningaveli nibambe ngale kuhulumende sekunekuthi ite lakithi ngoba lokuyaye bese kuyendeka ukuthi nangabe ite kithi njengoba ushito ekucaleni le mali ukhanza sesigcine siyisebenzisela letinye tindvo so I do see that this is going to be is a very good initiative lesikwendile ke sikhulumisene nabo PS ka bonke bakahulumende labangibona bo controlling officer ukuthi le program itawusebenza kanjani sibonile ukuthi balithakasela nabo lo hlelo nabo labo labalati imali kahulumende ama accountants nabo sesiba engageile sakhulumisana ukuthi lo hlelo litawusebenza kanjani na accountant general kuze konke kutohamba kube seamless sitawuthi ke ezisalisebenza njengoba ukhuluma ngama implications nangabe khona la kufuna silicole khona ezisichubeka sitawufunza together sikhona ukuthi silicole lisebenze kahle.
So kube khona khala vele kubo bosoma business lokuthi vele why le mali idela kithi yonke yini ngavele ngithathe ngale kuhulumende with those one of the reasons ukuthi vele esale ni implementa le mechanism lena.
Yes, it is that, but it is also that we have seen that others do not bring it vele abayilethi noma ngabe uhulumende ubabhadele which then is not fair because it's the same government that we are supplying. We are supposed to bring back the money to the same fiscals kuze utoqhubeka usebende so but labanye vele bakhale ngokuthi mhlawumbe kuyinvo lenhle ukuthi le mali beyingabanjwa ngala sekunekuthi ide kubo ngoba vele akusiyo yabo.
All right. Bagcina nje ngosi for further assistance ingabe bangaxhumana nani kanjani?
Inombolo tethu inombolo yethu ithi 24064050 bangasithola na ku WhatsApp 76063735 sikhona na ka Facebook we interact a lot with them clients ethu siyacela ukuthi basithinze kuze sitowukhona ukuthi sisitane la kufuna sisitane khona.
All right, smakhulu Nkosi, thank you for coming through today. Mbukezoti vele besikhuluma yona indzaba yema government suppliers mechanism ngelensha libitwa ngekuthi simplified VAT mechanism yendelo nje ema government suppliers labo labathengisela uhulumende kuphela kepha ke kuva kabande songaxhumana nabo baka ERS batokuchazela kabande kuloko lofise kukuva asibahlothe market sitawe sichibeke nehlelo.
This weekend is Eswatini, your official weekend party starter. Tune in for the best of entertainment. We're bringing you the hottest music videos and live studio interviews with your favorite celebrities. we're giving you a front row seat to the latest fashion trends as well as your weekend gig guide. Join us live on social media and call in to send your shout-outs. Be sure to catch our movie segment where we review and give updates on all latest movies. Catch This Weekend Eswatini every Friday at 5:30 p.m. live on Eswatini TV.
Hello everyone and welcome to the show. You know the vibes, it's the beat down. The time is 8 p.m. It's time for you to relax, sit back, relax, and enjoy the music videos that I got for you.
Welcome back to the program. We are about to look into an interesting segment that we recorded with, Pastor Lungelele. Yeah, Pastor.
From the Holy Life Assemble Church. Dr. Howard Brown for his Holy Ghost and Fire Tour.
Yeah. The Holy Ghost and Fire Tour across 13 African countries, accompanied by a dedicated team of 20 individuals. Dr. Rodney Howard Brown is a highly respected figure in the realm of religion, or rather in the realm of faith, education and entrepreneurship. Let's hear more about le tour. Is amongst the 13 countries that have been fortunate enough to be graced by Dr. Rodney's presence, but also what he is coming to offer Eswatini with this tour.
It's not by the efforts of one, but by the combined efforts of many. You're going to reach people that nobody else can reach. I'm going to mobilize every single person here to win souls. God preserved you for this moment. The glory of God's going to run through this land, so much so that it shall shake every realm, shaking it to the very core. And there's nothing the devil can do to stop it. I come and light a fire and watch it burn. God's not finished with Africa. In the divine atmosphere of heaven, the Lord will forge in you that which He wants you to do. And the grace to carry the mantle will be upon your life. And God has raised you up for this hour.
Sikhuluma tona nje tindzaba letitaba etendeka lapha eveni kusukela mhla ka-23 kuya kumhla ka-24 njengoba sibhekekile ukuthi kude yena Dr. Rodney Brown lota lapha eveni kude ubamba tinkonzo ngalamalanga lamabili sinaye lapha Apostle Abednego njangase lota sichazela kabanti ngaye Holy Ghost and Fire Tour. Dr. Rodney ke uvakashela emave alapha esifundeni Africa lango-13 ofaya khathi inalo live leSwatini. Asivusele kakhulu siba kakhulu Apostle ukuthi uphindze ubuye solo uyasichazela kanye ndana vele ukuthi lo msebenzi uyachubeka and niyasimema sive semaswati ukuthi side kuleti inkonzo tibalekile. I think sesivetile nje indzaba ukuthi Dr. Rodney ungubani yini emaphupho akhe vision yakhe sibonile nokuthi vele imfumbo ihambisa embili phindze futhi nato emabhizinisi ukuthi ihambisa embili. Sifuna ukuva ke manje ukuthi kulo msebenzi siyadla ukuthi utabiswe mavuso hall 1 lihola lelo lelila echavele bamfula abaningi kakhulu kutabe kuphithitela nani ingavele mhlambe nilibandla lelungisa nje lo msebenzi nitibukile into indzaba tekuphepha kwesive nasibona nje terms of security sive sitabe sisiphephe kanganani.
Ngiyabonga kakhulu Mthombeni, ngiyabonga uphinde sihlangane futhi sikhuluma indaba etopical kulamalanga ezweni yokuza kwa Dr. Rodney Howard Brown Holy Ghost and Fire Tour. Njengoba usushilo indoda ephakanyiswa uNkulunkulu oyisebenzisa ngamandla vele igcwele umlilo le ndoda njengoba nje nale theme yakhe isho vele kuyabe kuqhwiza umlilo abeze ngamandla abazalwane abeze ngamandla abantu benkosi bazoyizwela bona ukuthintwa isandla sika Jehova esebenzisa indoda ayigcobile uNkulunkulu ukuze embuzweni wakho ke Mthombeni ukuthi kungabe ezokuphepha zabe zime kanjani njengoba abantu bezobe beyizindimbane bengangoba bengaka hayi ezokuphepha zime ngomumo amaphoyisa zabe khona ebhekile ukuthi konke kuhambe kahle kanye futhi ne traffic nezimoto konke azabe khona amaphoyisa bangesabi lutho neze beze nje bekhululekile konke kuzabe kuhamba ngendlela yakhona konke kume ngomumo zonke izinto izendaweni yazo.
Okay, njengoba uvetile nje ku-interview yethu nje yaphambilini Apostle ukuthi vele umsebenzi ucala nga-5 inkonzo icala nga-5 no between 5 and 6. Ngiyakholelwa ukuthi vele mhlambe nani nifisile ukuthi sive side ukutaba khona lokho kubambisa sive ukuthi sikhona ukufika kamanzini sive nje sitawusuka kubolo mahasha nama big band naso lesifisile kuba ingcenye yale tinkonzo kukhona yini mhlambe transport leni ba organize yona ukuthi nabo bakhona ukufika ngala.
Yes, akhona amabhasi asiwalungisile bazawugibela mahala kuneyindawo ezikhethiwe akusilo lonke izwe kodwa nje kuneyindawo ezikhethiwe ifaka phakathi bombabane khona ibhasi ezawusuka embabane njengoba sazi ukuthi idolobha elikhulu icapital kukhona amabhasi asuka kuboMatsapa kubongwane park khona amabhasi asuka bomkhuzweni manzini azabe khona amabhasi kanti nalabo bazawukuza bangesabe nabo ukuthi inkonzo iphele ebusuku mase iphelile inkonzo ebusuku sengifika njani ekhaya laba babuya kudanyana uma seyiphelile inkonzo ebusuku bangesabe ikhona itransport yokwabuyisela emakhaya.
So kahle nje Apostle le transport itfola kala kuphi kahle yini lebhekekile eziveni ngoba ndawo khanza simo lapho khona senikhanza amaline lamathi labanye sebayasala kukhona yini mhlambe lokho kubhalisa kusho ukuthi nami ngifuna ukugibela ibhasi yini litawundeka kanjani vele
kusho ukuthi nje kunabantu esibabekile sawukhipha inombolo zabo uma sekuya ngakhona sayikhipha le inombolo ukusho ukuthi embabane kunabani inombolo yakhe naye nthinta yena ukuthi ni accessa kanjani ibhasi kuMatsapa engwale park kuphi and so on and so forth konke bazawuchazelwa nje bonke labo bagibeli abazabe bedinga transport ukuthi kule ndawo le uthinta bani inombolo yakhe naye.
Okay, shothi indzawo inye itaba nebhasi inye noma mhlambe kutaba ngemabhasi.
Kusho ukuthi ngamanye amagama sawasesa ilesimo ukuthi kuhamba kangakanani kuyawe ngeresponse ukuthi ba responda kangakanani uma kubiza ukuthi sifaka amabhasi amabili sawafaka amabhasi amabili. Yes, ngeke bese sigalela nje amabhasi amaningi singakazi ukuthi bangakanani ababeqhamuka kuleyo ndawo.
Okay, so ngifuna ukubuta ke Apostle ukuthi siyathi lokho ukuthi sive samaswati mangabe kuba nemisebenzi lemikhulu kangaka sitawubheka ukuthi mhlambe singasebenzisa lelo thuba ukuthi nabo kube khona ibhizinisi nyana labayendako nje eceleni siye sikubone kwendeka nje khona lapha emavuso vele uthi nginemsebenzi bese kuba khona lokho labakuthengisako eshisa nyama for bambula utavanga ukuthi mhlambe sebalambile during the night noma mhlambe nibheka ukuthi baphathe ekaftini kukhona vele mhlambe lokho lenihlelile ukuthi ama vendors nabo babe ingcenye kodwa bakhona nabo kwenta imali bathengise ukudla kulomsebenzi.
Ama vendors Mthombeni ngabantu ababuka ama opportunities ukuthi la kune opportunity to make money khona baya khona njengoba bezwa kumenyezelwa nje bazawufuna ukuze enkonzweni iphinde bakhe nemali futhi bavumelekile ukuthi bangakanekisa nabo lapha endaweni yabo benze ibhizinisi ngoba vele phela abanye bazawusuka ngo4 bonke lamabhasi asuka ngo4 lapha esuka khona abanye kungenzeka vele ukuba bakalitholi nethuba lokuthi kube khona abakumekisa emlonyeni zabe zikhona indawo lapho khona bangakwazi ukuthi bathole kuye emlonyeni.
Okay. So kumbe kusingeta sithombe nje apostle ukuthi kutabe kwendekani vele kahle kahle nje inkonzo mayiqala usingethe nje sithombe sokuthi kutabe kuhlatshelwa kutabe kuvunyiswa uNkulunkulu sikhona yini isicubulo mhlambe lentabeni isilandzela lentabeni hamba ngaphansi kwaso kule nkonzo.
Isiqubulo nje yiso lese esikamoya ingcole nomlilo lese sa Holy Ghost and fire njengoba ehamba kule tour yakhe nje ahamba kuyo Dr. Rodney Howard Brown asike esinye singaphansi kwaleso vele kulandelwa lesihamba ngaleso vele siqubulo sakhe kuzabe kuyinkonzo vele nje isuka nje ibekwa uma befika nje abazalwane nga5 bengena iyaphakama inkonzo kuyahlatshelelwa njengoba sesishilo ukuthi uzabe khona unduduzo mathe odumile kwezomculo wegospel bazabe bekhona nabanye esingeke sibasho kwamanje kodwa nje bazabe bekhona nabanye kuzabe kumnandi kudelile impela angeke asikho isikhathi sesithukuthezi ukuthi khona abantu abazawufika bazamule sebefikile enkonzweni cha uma ufika nje enkonzweni vele nawe uzawuthola okungangawe yilo nalowo uzawufika athathe afake emgodleni wakhe kuye ngokuthi umgodla wakhe ungakanani.
Okay. Ingabe nje apostle ulitaba khona yini lithuba litawuniketwa bona abazalwane ukuthi labo labafisa kumitha Dr. Brown bambone mhlawumbe bafuna ukuthola umthandazo manje bafuna ukumitha batawuniketwa yini lelo thuba lelo.
Angithi nje uma iqhubeka inkonzo Mthombeni vele esashumayela uyabathandazela nabantu futhi. So vele akhona lamathuba ukuthi bazawubeka izandla abanye kungenzeka bangabi bonke abazawubeka izandla kwabanengi kakhulu phela abantu kodwa kukhona abazawulithola ithuba lokuthi babeke izandla.
Okay. So umsebenzi uyaqala ngemgcibelo 23
umgcibelo 23
naSunday kanjalo bayabuya
nangesonto kanjalo ebese kuthi ngomsombuluko i-leadership meeting i-business seminar at the George Hotel lapho khona kuya bosomabhizinisi nabafundisi kuphela akusayi bonke abantu manje sekuya abafundisi nabosomabhizinisi kuphela i-entry is free i-breakfast is free kodwa strictly by registration ngoba kufuna siwa control ama numbers ngoba akusikho ukuthi ihotela lonke lapho seligcwala thina sinikeziwe indawo i-conference room la sakwazi ukuthi siqhubeke khona nomhlangano i-breakfast iyaqala ekseni ngapha7 ebese kuthi ke nga10 uyafika Dr. Rodney kuqala isemina.
Okay. Shothi ke ngalomgcibelo sive kumele ukuthi vele sihlale silalele umsakazo Eswatini TV sinilandzele nakubo social media benu kuva lokho ukuthi lamabhasi kahle kahle asuka ngabantu isikhathi asukela kuphi kubhaliswa kanjani.
Yes, njoba ngisho nje ukuthi hayi njoba siyaqhubeka siyawenza ama announcements kwezinye indawo sesifakile nokufaka ukuthi amabhasi azawuhamba kanje nala njoba sawubuya nje nakhona sawukusho ukuthi nazi ikhathi zamabhasi ibhasi esuka eBhunya isuka ngalesikhathi ni contact person ngibani ibhasi esuka eMbabane isuka nganaso isikhathi contact person ngibani kodwa nje zonke le ndawo azawusuka nga4.
Okay, sibonga kakhulu Apostle Mbokeli sothi vele ukuthi konke sekume ngemumo amabhasi akhona sive sithi akhona kulayishwa tisuka kuleto tindzawo letehlukahlukene kude tito bayingcenye yayo inkonzo lenkhulu lapho khona kutabe kuna Dr. Rodney Brown owasemelika utaba ayilapha ekhaya Eswatini kusukela mhla 23 kuya kumhla 24 September emavuso kaManzini. Sibahlola emakethe Star West chibeke nehlelo.
Ngudla ngingusihlalo walo libandla sihlanganyela nesive malangeni lamahle kuhalalisela ingwenyama inkosi yethu inkosi Mswati wesithathu minyakeni lamashumi lasihlanu nakuhlanu kanye nelive longana kundiphethe wethu ukuthi lo lingana nabo netinsuku tengwenyama letingu 55 nananathi sisive seMaswati sina leminyaka ilengu 55 sesikhululekile ngandiphethe. Siyabonga ke bonke sisahalalisele emakhosi ethu nelive ukuthi nebayitolo lekungibona lesithi te basebenta lelive makhosi ayitolo nesive semaswati sonke sayitolo ngoba lokhu lesesifike lamhla siyasakukhanza lesikuhalaliselako ngilokuchamuka kibo lekubita ke ukuthi ke nathi simaswati njengekukhonjwa indlela makhosi ngosi yelive sichubekeni silibeke live libe ngiloko lekungibona lesikukhanzile nathi nalokungcono maswati silibandla lelikhethwe nemingcele sisahalalisele makhosi nelive ngandiphethe sijinga siphindze futhi siwabongele makhosi ngemsebenzi losetulo eveni welikhetho sisitengcile tigaba tokuqala lebesikito nyalo ke sekuseleke sigaba lesesisetulu ke lokungisona sona ke lesisitawu siniketa iParliament yethu isinikete futhi emabandla enkundla lokuba ubuchopho ke lobakhiwa induna tetinkundla lekungibona bosihlalo bese ke nabobuchopho bemiphakathi benkundla labakha lobuchopho lelibandla lenkundla lekungilona lelisebenzisana kanye neParliament nahulumende welive lemaswati wonkana bongosi emalanga umuntu akandlulise lokuthi ngumhla ka-26 we-special voting bese ulandzela ke umhla ka-29 September walolukhetho lelukhulu lukhetho lwesibili lesongilona loluyi-final ngalawo magama amalangeni sikhutha lwandle sibongele live bongosi bayethe
and to teach it in schools around the country. The foundation spread its wings to Sitegi Nazarene High School in the Lubombo region and imparted students with vast and deep knowledge in the Siswati cultural heritage in topics like the organizational structure of the traditional Siswati home, national cultural ceremonies, Siswati traditional songs and dances, Kubutsega, the initiation custom, and the Siswati traditional regalia. The young people were also taught that moral values are the foundation for a prosperous future. The patron of the foundation, His Royal Highness Prince Panzile, applauded His Majesty's government for making Siswati one of the key subjects and further suggested that Fridays be made cultural days wherein students dress up in traditional attire.
Buhle besiswati yonke into ihleleke kahle yonke into inesizathu lesithide akuthi nje ukuthi kubekiwe nje into noma ukuthi umuntu wesiswati uma kanjani noma umuntu akavunulile ngesiswati uvunule nakavunulile lenani imvunulo isho inkulumo esigaba semuntu phindze isho inkulumo esigaba ukuthi lo msebenzi wani kusho kona ukuthi kuyajabulisa nekuva nalabantwana ukuthi bathi kakhulu ngalesi Siswati sibonge uhulumende kakhulu wayo imbube yemhlaba ukuthi asifake lesiswati kusyllabus solo siyakubonga lokho solo siyakhutsata ukuthi kube i-passing subject kuba into lenhle leyo kakhulu ngikwanza kwebuve besiswati na ubuka nje amavela amanye njengema-Arabs lelisiko labo le-Arab solo likhona yebo bayathuthuka bona kepha-ke lelisiko solo likhona nemhambo yabo kanjalo-ke nathi singemaswati-ke kufuneka sicine njalo emasikweni kakhulu sibonge nje kakhulu emakhosi ethu eSwatini ukuthi sukela amakhosi akudzala solo umhambo nemasiko esiswati ebuve solo namuhla solo sihamba ngawo nekukhutsata nahulumende ukuthi tikolo tonke teSwatini ukuthi njalo ngabo lesihlanu bayitayele lemvunulo ngoba lokunye lesikubona ukuthi labanye basangakwadi kahle lokuvunula basangaconsi kahle labanye sesho nakuyintayelo batawugcina bakutayela sekulangatini bangabi nebulukhuni sinabavunula kuvunula kanjani
The foundation has started a rollout of lucrative incentives that will encourage students to ace the Siswati syllabus. Recently, 3 top performers who excelled in the Siswati subject in the 2022 external examinations for grade 7, Form 3 and Form 5 were flown to the Republic of South Africa, courtesy of the foundation. The competition will grow and see the next batch of winners flying overseas. On the news, I am Sandile Makanya, reporting from Sitegi.
The Zuluni Chief Attorney General Sifiso Khumalo has hailed His Majesty's leadership for launching the Eswatini Youth Empowerment Program. Khumalo was speaking during a graduation ceremony of 75 young people under the program, which is being implemented in partnership with the United Nations Development Program.
In March 2023, a Zuluni municipality partnered with the United Nations Development Program, UNDP, to deliver the first Eswatini Youth Empowerment Program, which was aimed at offering out-of-school youth with basic vocational and business development skills to enable the youth to generate income and resiliency. Speaking during a graduation ceremony as Zuluni Chiefdom leader, Attorney General Sifiso Khumalo hailed His Majesty King Mswati III's leadership for launching this program.
I also extend my gratitude to His Majesty King Mswati III for the visionary leadership in launching the Eswatini Youth Program. To that extent, EYEP is a government-endorsed program which aims to support young graduates to secure their foot at the door of employment or starting business.
The Minister of Sports, Culture and Youth Affairs, Harris Bulunga, implored the private sector to support the government in curbing youth unemployment.
We continue to make a plea to the corporate and government state enterprises to join hands in this noble initiative of assisting government and the UNDP in the quest to curb youth unemployment in the country.
The Minister of Education, Lady Howard, also touched on the importance of youth skills in the country's economic development.
May I join my colleagues in congratulating the first cohort of the TVET graduates today for showing the rest of our youth that lives can be transformed through hard work and dedication.
Besides being awarded certificates of excellency, the graduating youth was also given tools to start their businesses. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I'm Samgal Suekoza with Simova Shongwe, Babane.
The United Nations Resident Coordinator George Washira says the Eswatini Youth Empowerment Program is conforming with the United Nations mandate of youth empowerment. The resident coordinator was speaking during the first Youth Empowerment Program graduation ceremony.
The Eswatini Youth Empowerment Program is aimed at reducing the country's youth unemployment rate, which currently stands at 58%. The UN Eswatini Resident Coordinator George Wachiri says the program is part of the United Nations Youth Empowerment Mandate.
The Eswatini Youth Empowerment Program is part of a broader program within the United Nations family that is trying to promote the interests and the needs and empowerment of young people. That includes 8 other UN agencies.
UNDP Eswatini country representative Rose Batindira highlighted the main objectives of the project.
And the overall objective is to encourage entrepreneurship, a powerful tool in fighting youth unemployment, but also, most importantly, break the no job, no experience vice that many of our young people face today.
The graduating youth said with the newly acquired skills, they are committed to support the country's economic development.
I would like to express my heartfelt thanks for your generous gift. With your unwavering support, you have made our education possible.
Helping them in any problem they've got, it could be their couches, sofas, office chairs and everything. I want to stretch my wings in such a way that I want to fill up the entire continent.
The Eswatini Youth Empowerment Program was launched by His Majesty King Mswati III last year. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I'm Samgal Suekoza with Simova Shongwe, Babane.
The Minister of Tourism, Moses Vilagati, has asked the nation to conserve the environment and also reduce gases that damage the ozone layer. The minister was speaking at Limpopo University during the launch of the World Tourism Month.
This year's theme for the Tourism Month is Tourism and Green Investment, Investing in People, Planet and Prosperity. The theme speaks to the conservation of the environment. Speaking during the World Tourism Month launch, the Minister of Tourism, Moses Vilagati, says during this month, they will have different activities scheduled, including clean-up campaigns.
During the course of the month, there will be activities that will be taking place, which will culminate on the 27th of September at Ngwenya Class, where we'll be celebrating together this theme. May I wish you all the best during the month. Let's all ensure that we talk tourism and green investment. It is the right thing to do. EEA, or Environment Authority, and other stakeholders have already shown that it is doable.
The Eswatini Tourism Authority CEO Linda Ngumalo says the launch taking place at Limpopo will help ensure that students have skills and knowledge required to the sustainable development of tourism in the kingdom.
We encouraged our tourists to not litter, to stay in eco-friendly accommodation environments, and to minimize waste.
Limpopo Campus Director Tobile Kumete says they do offer tourism courses.
In our program, we do have modules that speak to green tourism in our international tourism management program.
During this month, the Ministry of Tourism will also be educating the public on the importance of sustaining the environment. For Eswatini TV News, I'm Kian MCB and Sabenet Msetfa at the Limpopo University, Eswatini.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation Principal Secretary Newman Jangase says the launch of the Diaspora Unit will have a positive impact on the economy of the country. The unit will help in collecting data of Emaswati who are in the diaspora.
The Diaspora Unit aims to strengthen the government of Eswatini's capacity to engage the diaspora for social and economic development of the country. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation Principal Secretary Newman Jangase elaborates on the importance of the Diaspora Unit.
This unit will be able to monitor and also to keep the data of Emaswati that are working outside of the country. Not only Emaswati that are working, this unit is also going to be keeping data for students that are studying outside of the country.
International Organization on Migration Chief of Mission Jeremias Mendes says, among other things, the Diaspora Unit will assist when there is disaster and evacuation is needed.
Needs a dedicated mission to a dedicated unit that on a day-to-day basis can deal with things related to that. It's through this unit that you will be able to know who is where, doing what.
The country started setting up the Diaspora Unit in the year 2021. During the official launch of the unit, it was gathered that the unit will ensure that Emaswati who are in diaspora are not left behind in the country's development. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla, with Vuminkosi Nzinisa Mbabane.
Eswatini will now procure chicks from Brazil and Turkey amid the outbreak of avian influenza in different parts of the world. The Director of Veterinary Services, Dr. Xolani Dlamini, said this when explaining what measures are in place to prevent the disease from spreading into the country.
The Director of Veterinary Services, Dr. Xolani Dlamini, explains how Eswatini will deal with the outbreak of the avian fever.
What we're doing as a country is we're making sure that we trade only from safe compartments with South Africa. First, in fact, we reduce the amount of trade between us and South Africa in terms of chickens or with the neighbors, let me say that. Because what is happening is that our poultry industry is a vibrant industry locally. So it is able to cover the local demand. So that reduces the need to import from our neighbors. But what we're still importing in numbers is the fertile eggs. which we get from farms from South Africa. Some of those farms now are suspect farms. But where we get our fertile eggs, we test before we take the eggs, and the tests must not, or the results must not be older than 10 days. We are exploring importation from Turkey. In fact, we have found a supplier in Turkey, and we are looking for alternative supply again also in Brazil, just like we did the other time.
In June this year, the World Organization for Animal Health reported that 9,500 chickens died of avian influenza in 2 farms in South Africa. For Eswatini TV News, Nelson Langamandla, Vumingkhosi Nzenisa, Mbabane.
The public has expressed enthusiasm over the upcoming elections scheduled for the 29th of this month. They further encouraged others to go and vote on the day.
There are only 14 days left before the secondary elections, and members of the public say they cannot wait to cast their deciding vote.
As youth, to empower us.
The youth says it faces high unemployment rate and casting their vote will give them a voice. Some say there is a need to vote for someone based on their capabilities and commitment, not because they have treated the public to different material things. They also feel not voting is depriving oneself a golden opportunity to make a meaningful contribution to the country's development.
The Elections and Boundaries Commission says there will be over 700 polling stations. Over 583,000 people have registered for this year's elections. For Eswatini TV News, Nelson Langamandla, Vumingkhosi Nzenisa, Mbabane.
And international news. Authorities in the Libyan city of Derna have been burying the dead in mass graves. The official death toll stands at over 5,000, but that number is expected to rise substantially with over 9,000 people still missing. UN agencies, meanwhile, say most of the deaths in Libya could have been avoided if early warning and emergency management systems had functioned properly.
Is still in shock after massive flooding that all but destroyed this city in the east of Libya. On Sunday night, Storm Daniel struck, and when 2 upstream dams burst, they unleashed what residents described as a tsunami on the city. Like many others, this man has been unable to locate his relatives, for whom he fears the worst.
It's a disaster beyond our imagination. We thought it was just floods, that the water would go down, but the mud is the greatest problem. Bodies are buried under piles of mud and debris, 3 or 4 meters of mud.
These Sudanese migrant workers were woken by a loud bang at about 3 a.m. on Monday and described the horror of what they saw as the waters rose.
First of all, there are around 14 or 15 families that were swept away by the sea. Anyone who was in the valley was swept away. 9 other people who live directly on the coast are gone. May they rest in peace.
The floods have cast into cold light the damage wrought by a decade of instability in Libya, which continues to be ruled by rival governments based in the west and east of the country. This has left Libya sorely unprepared for such storms, according to the World Meteorological Organization.
Since the security situation in the country is so difficult, it's difficult to go there and improve the situation. And the Met service is practically not functioning. The flooding event just came there, and there was no evacuation taking place because there was not the proper early warning services in place.
Critics are already castigating authorities in the east for their alleged negligence in maintaining the 2 dams and for failing to evacuate regions at risk ahead of the storm.
Ukrainian officials on Thursday ordered the evacuation of families with children in areas of the southern Kherson region that are subject to constant enemy fire.
Bombs and missiles continue to rain on the Kherson region. Ukrainian authorities are asking all civilians to evacuate as quickly as possible.
Last night, Russian bombs killed a 6-year-old boy in the Kherson region. Young people should grow up in normal conditions, not under the threat of Russian artillery. That's why we are ordering the compulsory evacuation of all families with children from the affected areas.
The city of Kherson was liberated by Ukrainian troops in November last year, forcing Russian forces to withdraw south of the Dnipro River. Yet Moscow still controls large stretches of territory in the area and has carried out a massive and widespread bombing campaign on the region. Ukrainian officials, who recently recorded 75 instances of shelling over a single day, say civilians are bearing the brunt of the destruction.
We were in the apartment when we heard a loud bang. A shell or a grenade hit the gas pipes, and everything was up in flames.
Ukrainian authorities already recommended civilians leave the Kherson region in August, but the evacuations are now no longer optional.
The war in Ukraine is likely to be the big topic for a second year in a row when leaders gather at the UN General Assembly next week. But many developing countries are hoping to shine a light on issues important to them, including development, inflation, and climate change.
This year's General Assembly is taking place after a marathon month of summits and meetings, and some high-profile leaders are skipping the annual gathering. But there will still be plenty to talk about.
We will be gathering at a time when humanity faces huge challenges, from the worsening climate emergency to escalating conflicts, the global cost of living crisis, soaring inequalities, and dramatic technological disruptions. And people are looking to their leaders for a way out of this mess.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is expected to attend in person for the first time since Russia invaded his country in February 2022. It is an opportunity for him to appeal for international support, but he must also walk a diplomatic fine line.
Zelensky does have to be conscious that there are a lot of leaders from developing countries who have problems of their own, such as debt and poor economic growth. And they want to talk about those topics and not just the war between Russia and Ukraine.
That includes sustainable development, which is off track for meeting 2030 targets to end hunger and extreme poverty. The UN says if present trends continue, a staggering 575 million people will remain trapped in extreme poverty by the end of this decade. A 2-day summit that the UN hopes revitalizes the goals will begin the high-level week.
Progress has been set back significantly in recent years. This is in part due to the lingering drag of the COVID-19 pandemic, the highest level of armed conflict globally since 1945, and climate-related disasters, as well as inflation and the rising cost of living.
There will also be a climate action summit on Wednesday that requires ambitious commitments to cut greenhouse gas emissions and phase out fossil fuels for leaders to get a place at the podium. And the UN Security Council will also meet that day at the highest level to discuss the war in Ukraine. President Zelensky is expected to attend. The Secretary General says there is space to discuss both the war in Ukraine and other pressing issues during the week. He said rescuing the SDGs is urgent.
I believe that there is room for all issues to be seriously discussed, and I am not afraid that the different crises we are witnessing in different parts of the world, that they will take out of the agenda the importance of the SDGs.
President Joe Biden will address the General Assembly on Tuesday morning, laying out U.S. priorities.
He will address the General Assembly where he will reaffirm our country's leadership in countering threats to international peace and security, protecting human rights, and advancing global prosperity and development.
With much on the line, the world's citizens will be looking to leaders to take action to improve their daily lives and safeguard their future.
The manhunt for a convicted murderer who escaped from a Pennsylvania jail came to an end on Wednesday. Law enforcement took Danilo into custody after finding him in a rural area west of Philadelphia.
A phalanx of camouflaged tactical officers gathers around their target, Danilo Cavalcanti. They pose for photos, souvenirs of a successful mission to recapture the convicted killer after 14 days on the run. Cavalcanti was just beginning a life sentence for the murder of his girlfriend when he broke out of a Pennsylvania prison. He managed to elude search teams for 2 weeks before they eventually tracked him with heat-sensing aircraft and moved in on his location on Wednesday morning.
They were able to move in very quietly. They had the element of surprise. Cavalcanti did not realize he was surrounded until that had occurred.
Even when surrounded, the escaped prisoner didn't surrender.
He began to crawl through thick underbrush, taking his rifle with him as he went. Customs and Border Control teams, BORTAC, had a dog with them. The dog subdued him, and team members from both of those teams immediately moved in. He continued to resist, but was forcibly taken into custody.
Police described Cavalcanti as extremely dangerous, and his escape had caused fear in this rural Pennsylvania area. Some schools cancelled classes after he was spotted on CCTV cameras. Authorities urged residents to keep their doors locked.
Thank God there were no injuries to law enforcement or to the public. We obviously became deeply concerned after the suspect was able to steal a weapon. He was apprehended this morning with no shots fired.
Cavalcanti is now being transferred to a state prison to continue serving his life sentence.
Mexico's Congress held a discussion over the possibility that there may be extraterrestrial life. It's the first time they've welcomed the talk with speakers from across the world. One man stole the limelight, though, bringing with him what he says are 2 bodies that prove we are not alone.
The aliens have landed in Mexico's Congress. Or so one man claims, assuring that these 2 mummified beings are from another planet.
Today we are presenting 2 beings that were recovered from a mine in Peru. The desiccated bodies were found between Palpa and Nazca in 2017.
Jaime Mausen says his claims are backed up by DNA checks, proving that the little creatures are from another species. As other speakers from the United States, Brazil and Japan joined the official 3-hour session dedicated to UFOs, which wasn't to everyone's taste.
This is People's Parliament, and the important thing is that all voices are heard.
I think it's honestly a joke that these kind of talks are held in Congress, where discussions should be based on science and seriousness.
A report by Peru's prosecutor's office stated that some of Mausan's so-called findings were in fact recently made dolls that had been covered in paper and glue. It's unclear for now whether this concerned the mummies presented this week, but it's the first time that Mexico's Congress is giving such importance to the question. Back in July, the US Congress also held a similar hearing, and a former intelligence officer said he was certain that his country's government was in possession of unidentified equipment. Meanwhile, NASA has been reviewing evidence on unidentified phenomena, and the US Space Agency is to release findings of its study on unexplained flying objects in our skies.
In our sports news, the women national team continues with their preparations for the Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers against Burkina Faso next week and the COSAFA Women's Championships in South Africa next month. Head coach Zweli Khoza believes that they have a tough job ahead of them, especially the upcoming COSAFA champions, where they will play against the likes of Banyana, Malawi and Madagascar. It's 7:04. We've come to the end of our English bulletin. Thank you for staying with us. Let's take a break. We'll be back.
Letelkhetho nemingcele tingudla ngingusihlalo walo libandla sihlanganyela nesive malangeni lamahle kuhalalisela ingwenyama inkosi yethu inkosi Mswati wesithathu minyakeni lamashumi lasihlanu nakuhlanu kanye nelive longana kundiphethe wethu ukuthi lo lingana nabo netinsuku tengwenyama letingu 55 nananathi sisive semaswati sina leminyaka ilengu 55 sesikhululekile ngandiphethe. Siyabonga ke bonkosi sisahalalisele makhosi ethu nelive ukuthi nebayitolo lekungibona lesithi te basebenta lelive makhosi ayitolo nesive semaswati sonke sayitolo ngoba lokhu lesesifike lamhla siyasakukhanza lesikuhalaliselako ngilokuchamuka kibo lekubita ke ukuthi ke nathi simaswati njengekukhonjwa indlela makhosi ngosi yelive sichubekeni silibeke live libe ngiloko lekungona lesikukhanzile nathi nalokungcono. Maswati silibandla lelikhethwa nemingcele sisahalalisele makhosi nelive ngandiphethe sijinga siphinze futhi siwabongele makhosi ngemsebenzi losedulo eveni welikhetho sisitengcile tigaba tokuqala lebesikito nyalo ke sekuseleke sigaba lesesisedulu ke yokungisona sona ke lesisitawu siniketa iparlamente yethu isinikete futhi emabandla enkundla lokuba ubuchopho ke lobakhiwa induna tetinkundla lekungibona bosihlalo bese ke nabo ubuchopho bemiphakathi benkundla labakha lobuchopho lelibandla lenkundla lekungilona lelisebenzisana kanye bese ulandzela ke mhla ka 29 September walolukhetho lelukhulu lukhetho lwesibili lesongilona loluyifinal.
All right, it's 35 minutes after 7. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. We are joined by Kusile, who is the country director of Inectas. Inectas continues to engage the next generation of entrepreneurial leaders to use innovation and business principles to improve the world. The official Inectas national competition for umnyaka 2023 ikhona ke lapha event asichazela kabanti ngayo umzomba lana. Welcome to the program. Ngobile, big day for Inectas and students laba under your competition from the different higher institutions of learning. Lapa, I'm going to talk to me about this competition. What should we expect really? What is the essence of the competition?
Okay, thank you very much, Ngumalo. So, Lokshogo Together National Competition is where it culminates with the students endeavoring with their different entrepreneurial projects. So, Lokshogo Gutibe solo 7 na ogela students during the course of the year. Siba funzisa gele entrepreneurship, bakake ema business ideas abo. So, tomorrow, genglapo kona sesiyobona kona ge apicha ge lama teams edfules now. Sitabesna 8 wema teams are pitcher. Some of these teams, they are not coming with new innovations per se, but they are adding to the projects that they already have. Some of these teams that will be showcasing tomorrow, ngema teams lasavele asaka timali in terms of their businesses. So nako ke lesikujabulela lesikhutsatako ukuthi ema teams ethu angene into the entrepreneurship space silungiselela lokho ukuthi basi baphuma kulama college in the institutions of higher learning baphume sebenawo lamakhono and bakhona ukuchubeka ikakhulu ngoba sibona na the statistics of youth unemployment very high in the country. So basically we are sikulomkhakha lo ukuthi sibagcugcudele ukuthi bakhona ukuyotiphilisa further. How
many participants?
So we are having 8 teams that will be showcasing tomorrow, and each team has about 10 executives that will be presenting and pitching tomorrow.
Okay, that's good. And then from the past competitions, how happy are you with what has culminated post the competition with the ones that participated?
So I think, as I have explained, that I think from the past competitions, though that has been a platform that has built up to what we are going to be seeing this year. We are seeing teams that have already started businesses and also growing bigger. Like, for instance, we have the Liengo team, which in 2022, they came up with the Better Juice, which was a juice that was developed particularly for COVID, but then now we are seeing them adding more flavors, because one of the things that we are realizing is the need for us to also eat in a healthy manner. Now we are saying that students have already come up with this juice to say this juice also promotes a healthy lifestyle. As we can see, the statistics also of what we call the non-communicable diseases increasing in the country. So the need for us also to reshape how we eat generally. Yes.
All right, great. All the best with the competition
Thank
tomorrow.
You so
I'm very
much.
aware you came here with 2 of your participants and 2 of your kids, if I may put it like that, who we are going to be speaking to right after this ad break. Don't go anywhere.
Thank you very much.
This weekend is Eswatini, your official weekend party starter. Tune in for the best of entertainment. We're bringing you the hottest music videos and live studio interviews with your favorite celebrities. We're giving you a front row seat to the latest fashion trends as well as your weekend gig guide. Join us live on social media and call in to send your shout outs. Be sure to catch our movie segment where we review and give updates on all latest movies. Catch This Weekend Eswatini every Friday at 5:30 p.m. live on Eswatini TV.
Yes. Okay. All right, welcome back to the program. We do have Nogwethuza Mamthethwa. She is the CEO for the UNESWA Mbabane campus. Lapho khona ke benda a crop residue recycle project. But she'll explain all about that to us right now. Nyambos, welcome to the program. A young CEO. I love speaking to young CEOs. I think the country is in dire need of those. First of all, congratulations on this project. Talk to us about this project. When you say you tinhlanga residue,
so basically, feed because we make a livestock feed mainly for cattle, goats, and pigs. We grind letinhlanga, grind the chicken litter, other fuel residues, and so I mix again in a calculated ration to provide the nourishment for our livestock.
Talk to me about, I know local business, there's the market research. How's the appetite for your products?
It's very much welcoming because emaswati, I think it's if you the market prices in the country, they are very high since 2016. So they were very happy with the innovation lena because the pricing up for about 30% reduction. Wow. Yes, so and we are still getting orders. It's not just subsistence farmers but commercial farmers as well. We've got ministers ordering our feed, so it's very, very exciting, and it's I'm excited.
Yeah. 30% is quite a drastic reduction go price. Doesn't that affect my price? I mean, your sales? Doesn't that affect your profits?
It doesn't. So we use waste, so e-waste doesn't cost much. It costs very, very less. So it's a advantage. You could see our waste, our raw materials, they don't cost much. So agmeli pricing because still we'll be making a lot of profit from the sales that we make.
Okay, as a small medium enterprise that you are right now, what are your future plans? I'm sure you do plan on expanding this business. It has a lot of potential, by the way. The agriculture industry is in dire need of bantu labenda emafeed njengami.
Yes. Future sifuna kuba ne feedlot of our own.
Okay.
Siplana kuthengisa all-round organic meat. Pinzi sifise ku-expanda nathi so that we can be recognized like other livestock feed companies in the country, because most of them are international. So we want to be that first local company in the country that purchases livestock feed for farmers in the country and maybe export.
Yeah, as a CEO, how many people do you have under you as your personnel right now?
On the ground, on the team in production, we have 10 beneficiaries. Then on my team, I can't even count, like we're about 70.
About 70, and everyone's getting paid, CEO?
Yes, in one way or the other, everyone's getting paid.
Any vacancies? I'm looking to expand my professional leg and probably venture into agriculture.
I'll probably have something for you as well.
Okay. Then maybe we can have that conversation. I'm aware you are with Mr. Ngwenya, Piwa Nkosi, who is from SANU. They also have their own project. We want to discuss that right after this quick ad break. Don't go anywhere.
Ngabukela ke washa umkhukhu every Sunday at 3 p.m.
Let me tell you about my crush. Ngenzane inhliziyo yami embi kwakho njengekudala.
Ngondlo yesiswati.
It is 3 in the afternoon. We are back in the living.
For men are so kind towards creation more than they even were to their own creator.
I am the greatest of this generation. They'll be calling me the girl who made poetry look cool, yo. Cool.
We're back with Piwa Ngwenya. He is the Inecta CEO at SANU Sitegi Campus. This team recycles plastic bottles to create smart farming structures that allows one to practice farming on the go. Sibusele mabuya ehlelweni ingabe usichazela nje kabanti ngale business yenu. I'm seeing quite the similarity in the sense that you are pretty much under the same industry, which is agriculture. I think let's premise our conversation ngaloko ekutheni why agriculture? Cishe nonke ngathi ningala kutekulima.
Yes,
I think mostly our target kubang agriculture, because agriculture is what feeds the whole nations. Actually, it's what supplies nations with what they live with.
Yeah.
So agriculture is basically where yonke into iqhamuka khona. Even if you can go outside of food, you find ukuthi building materials and other things, yaqhamuka agriculture on its own. So agriculture is basically the most important thing nasibuka in the world, in the country, and so on. Sir.
Smart farming structures that allows one to farm on the go. Please explain that in simple terms to me, because now see on the go, I mean, my general assumption is maybe I can farm, but I know that that's not what you mean really. But yeah, what do you really mean by smart structures that allows me to farm on the go?
Okay, so it's smart farming structures because it's basically what structures that we've innovated to meet to meet bantu labahlala in urban constrained areas where lapho khanza ukuthi bede khona kahle indzawo yekulima to grow to
so
have a
rented
backyard.
areas really.
Yes, where they don't have a background where they can grow vegetables.
Right.
So now we created a structure to meet their need, to say, okay, now you want to have a vegetable garden, what can you do? We build this structure, it becomes a vertical structure whereby you are able to.
Is this what it looks like?
Yes, this is part of our structures because we are a team that is innovative. We constantly improve the structures to meet different expectations. So the structures, tiba movable, tiba portable. That's one of the things. These ones are not portable, but the other ones are portable to meet. It's rented places, you can place them on the veranda and move them around to meet sunlight and the ever-changing weather conditions.
And then, how do you... I'm really looking at this. What kind of vegetables can you grow? Is there a limit maybe as to what vegetables you can grow?
Okay, currently we can say there is a limit, but we are looking to improve actually. So
what are the go-to vegetables then?
I can say it's lettuce, it's a spinach, and other herbs. There are herbs we are trying to figure out if they can be useful for us and they can generate us profits. Then but for a subsistent farmer, I can say they can try anything. Onions, they can try, as long as it can fit through the plastic boxes we are recycling and using to farm. I think anything is a go-to, can be a go.
Yeah, quite interesting. Congratulations on this project. I do also want to ask you, as the chief executive, how many people do you have as your employees, as your personnel?
Okay, I can say we have a team of 32 members through our on our team, but obviously on a team there are those lababa hands-on full-time, which I can say there are around 10 individuals which see hands-on now on a daily basis.
Does that include you?
Yes, obviously it does. Yes.
I like a chief executive that gets their hands dirty with the rest of the other guys, especially as you are still growing this project. Maybe at the end of the day, you'll be just sitting in the office. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Mabuya Piwa Ngosi Ngwenya, CEO of Inectas Group, le under Isanu Siteg. Let's go for a quick ad break. We return with Fabrice Msonera just to speak briefly on what we should expect from our sports weekend this year.
What do you think the best part of traveling is? Is it the food, or is it the conversation, or is it the sights and sound? If you're ready to explore, we are ready to show you the best way how. We'll give you access to the best luxury getaway sites in the Kingdom of Eswatini, and of course show you vacation sites that suit your budget, because you do not need a lot of money to actually have a great time. Join us on the next adventure on Buhle Bethu, only on Eswatini TV.
All right, welcome back to the program. We have 10 minutes before Gubumbane Insimbi. Yes, Pohlongo Fabrice Msonera is here. Fabrice, a very good morning to you. Everyone's excited, especially in the football front, because Malik even Nalagangwane, there's a lot of excitement now. The Trade Fair Cup is over. Mehlo Sekabuge EPLE. Let's talk about that excitement.
The return of the M10 Premier League. I think supporters have been waiting, for this league to return. There were issues of sponsors, but finally we're here.
Yeah.
And when we talk about the return, we talk about from this afternoon, because Royal Leopard against Eswatini United today at Galanga Stadium in Stegi. The game will be starting at exactly 3:30. But the main attention is on Saturday and on Sunday, way at Mayaluka King Sobuza. I think some of the games we can pick, it's Rangers against Bawane, the Swallows. It's a game to watch on Sunday. We can call it a yellow Sunday because in the same venue, there is Nsingizini Hotspurs and Manzini Wanderers. So we can't wait. It's an excitement, and I think from what we've seen in the Trade Fair Cup, a lot is expected from these teams. What a season is going to be so far.
Yeah, Fabrice, which team do you see prospectively as the best team so far, at least from the the tournaments that we've had as a build-up? It's been a couple of tournaments, the Bible Society Cup, we've seen the Trade Fair Cup.
Yeah. I think apart from Ugutsi, maybe Ngaibugera during the Trade Fair Cup, but I think so far I see Green Mamba returning the title. I think they're just too class. I think if you look at their key players, you look at the performance, the coach, and I think they have got what it takes, man, to defend the title. I'm giving them to that. A team that is closer to them to bring that competition is the same team that will be playing on a Saturday at Galanga Stadium against it's Young Buffaloes rather at 3:30. That's the team I see them coming closer. Then you come to Mbabane Swallows, Bakona Mbabane Highlanders, and also Royal
Speaking
Leopard.
of Mbabane Swallows, sorry to catch you there. Do we know for sure now where Pupu is headed to, Banele's concert?
Rumors has it that he could be joining Mbabane Highlanders, but we have to wait for this final day where he pens down a new contract. But he is no more with the Mbabane Swallows. Teams have been invited to come and get him because he's still contracted.
What are the teams that are interested in him?
There is Green Mamba that is interested. There is Mbabane Highlanders rather that is interested. Chances are that he could really join Mbabane Highlanders. But there's also interest from South African clubs. But let's wait and see how the story unfolds.
It would be a havoc if he joined Green Mamba, because it's just
the
current
structure.
It'd be too much. Fabrice, PSL, let's move to South Africa now. We will be seeing Kaizer Chiefs facing Real AM this coming weekend, but Swallows is playing Richards Bay today. Some other games as well that will be coming up this weekend. Talk to me about this fixture.
Yeah, quite interesting. Real AM against Chiefs. If you look at Chiefs, they will be at home, but supporters coming all the way from Durban just to go support their team. It's a quite intriguing fixture today. Mbabane Swallows, one of the oldest club in the South African football, playing Richards Bay. It's another tricky fixture. We would want also to see our key player there, Justice Figueiredo, who plays for Richards Bay. How is he going to perform? They're away. They need 3 points. They haven't started well the season. It's quite also going to be a good fixture. But Cape Town Spurs at home hosting Buccaneers. I think another corner. It's another really good fixture that you can expect. But look at TX Galaxy against Super Sports United.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, especially
for a good weekend.
TX Galaxy is sitting on the 8th position, facing 3rd position Super Sports United. It's going to be an interesting match. But Mamelodi Sundowns still at the top of the log table up there, sitting pretty. 18 points, 8 points clear.
These guys will defend the
cruising
title.
nicely.
We can talk about it now, no doubt. These guys have got what it takes. Remember, they've got so many competitions on their hands. They've got CAF, they've got everything. So I see them just cruising and lifting it again.
Yeah, I want us to move to the English Premier League. It is also making a return. What an interesting fixture, Fabrice. The 16th of September, this Saturday, which is tomorrow. Starting off with Liverpool versus Wolves. For me, one of the interesting games, but we do see Manchester United versus Brighton at 4 p.m. and Manchester City versus West Ham. I want us to focus on those games just briefly, and maybe Newcastle and Brentford. But yeah, Liverpool versus Wolves, what's your prediction there?
It's a good game, but Wolves at home, they could upset them, but 2-1 Liverpool.
Yeah?
2-1 Liverpool, they could really...
2-1 Liverpool?
Yeah, 2-1 Liverpool.
Hold you to that next week.
Man United, Brighton. Yeah, but cool Brighton. I think from the history, but they'll be at home. They could play a draw 1-1.
You reckon a draw?
Yeah, I reckon a draw because of the history of the fixture, the current position of the team. Brighton are really in a good space in terms of motivation. players like Ansu Fati and all those Ferguson and all those players. So Man United could really get a challenge with the defensive problems they have, injuries and stuff. For Spurs, they are the surprising package so far, sitting second in the league against Sheffield United at home. There won't be any mistake. They could really hammer this Sheffield United. But look at that fixture: West Ham United at home at the London Stadium against the defending champions. The defending champions have got that character. Whenever they go out, the bad team is serious. So Nakon, I think it could be a small margin of score, 2-1 in favor of City, because of how West Ham also are motivated. But what I like about the EPL is that every weekend there should be a big game that will take you off.
And which is the big game this weekend?
I think Everton at home at Goodison Park against Arsenal. It's another intriguing fixture.
This Sunday, and it's
a lot of time. It's a lot of information about Everton. They could be sold again to some Miami 7-7 company in the US. So there's a lot of things happening. So against Arsenal that is in a good space.
We're talking about a 5th position Arsenal facing an 18th position Everton, and we are calling it the game of the weekend. Not too
in
sure
England,
about
it's
that.
too early. In England, it's too early because look at where Manchester United is. Look at where Chelsea is. Yes, they are not performing well, but I don't think they will finish in this
Quite
position.
unbelievable seeing Chelsea and Manchester United there after 4 games
It's
into
early
the
4
league.
games. That's 12 points, and you have collected only 6. So, which means the champion, the leader, is already 6 games ahead of you. That's 2 games. So it's early to determine anything for those teams.
Do you have the same sentiments for Manchester City as you have for Mamelodi Sundowns?
I do, but the percentage is just too small because I'm giving them 60% to win the league, and I'm giving Arsenal 40% to win the league.
So Manchester City is definitely cruising into
Tottenham could surprise everyone.
Pep Guardiola back, by the way.
After that surgery, he's back. And then I think there was no trouble for them to win in his absence. But Spurs, people should watch this team. Spurs are in a really good mood. Ken is gone, the coach is gone, but they have got a new coach who is really cooking something. I think the only draw they had is that game against the opening game of the season. So far, 10 points in 4 games.
So we conclude by Arsenal versus Everton as the biggest game.
I
oh
think
my
it's
God!
the biggest game.
Jesus, the way that Arsenal played on their last game, I'm not sure if you should still have that confidence for Manchester City. They played really well on their last game, so Arsenal does have the edge.
Yeah, they have edge, but you also look at how. I saw him also playing for Brazil against Bolivia. He came into the last 75 minutes, last 20 minutes into the game. Yes, a substitution. I'm confident. I think when he's with the likes of Saka and Martinelli, they cook something.
But Prince, I'm afraid we can't talk La Liga. We have 2 minutes before we wrap up the show today. But I really want to talk about Barcelona and the Real Madrid. Barcelona facing Real Betis this weekend, and just how it's looking like the race for me, Real Madrid and Barcelona. We don't know who's going to clinch it this season.
I'm giving to Madrid because of also the confidence they have, the signings they have made. I'm really confident. I think this is their season for them. I think the interchange of them winning the league last season in Barcelona, now Madrid standing a chance, it's something that we've seen before, but I'm really confident with Atletico Madrid also still in the picture. I'm confident that they could upset Barcelona and win the league.
Fabrice, you're not just a sports analyst, you're also a broadcast presenter, so I haven't given you these honors in a long time, so if you will, just close the show for us.
They have it. That is Sfiso Ngumaro in the company of Fabrice Musena. Just know that in as much as there's a lot taking place this weekend, sporting activities do continue. It is back, 2023-2024 Premier League of Eswatini. We can't wait. See you next week, Monday.
Letelukhetfo nemingcele Elections and Boundaries Commission bathi sasive kutsi kuvota ngalokukhetsekile special voting kutawuba mhla tingemashumi-26 kuLesitulu 26 September 2023. Kanti lukhetfo lolukhulu lona lutawubanjwa mhla tingemashumi-29 kuLesitulu 29 September 2023. Ngete ngasala nasakha live letfu.